To the members of the school's Division Research Committee, fellow researchers, ladies and gentlemen, a pleasant day to all of you. I am Riza Soberano with my partner Aries Manalo, presenting to you a research study titled Challenges and Opportunities in Science Learning Resource Development Basis for Teacher Support Program. The scale of COVID-19 pandemic impacts on education system and on young people's learning and well-being is increasing daily. This global crisis prevented children and adolescents from fulfilling their rights for safe, quality, and inclusive education. This challenges the education leaders to transform traditional teaching and learning process into distance learning and remote learning modalities. Kapoor in 2019 stated that in an educational institution, the development of teaching and learning materials is a major aspect that will promote student learning and will help in achieving academic goals and objectives. Thus, the researchers of this study decided to determine the challenges and opportunities made by teachers as they create teaching and learning materials during the pandemic period. DepEd Order Number 12, Series of 2020 has the following statement. Ensure learning continuity through the K-12 curriculum adjustments, alignment of learning materials, deployment of multiple learning delivery modalities, provisions of corresponding training for teachers and school leaders, and proper orientation of parents or guardians of learners. The policy establishes the guidelines on providing learning resources and the implementation of the LCP. It also covered the release, utilization, and liquidation of support funds for printing and delivery of self-learning modules and other learning resources. The research questions used in the study are the following. What are the teachers' experiences as learning resource developers in terms of the following development process? Number 2, what components in the learning resource development process challenge the teachers? Number 3, what components in the learning resource development process indicate opportunities for teachers? And number 4, what teacher support program can be proposed to help teachers in developing learning materials for emergency distance learning as means for continuous professional development? For the scope and limitation, focused on the challenges and opportunities faced by the junior high school writers in developing learning resources for science subject during the pandemic period. The output of the study is a teacher support program in the development of learning resources, and the participants are the junior high school science writers in SDO Cavite. As for the methodology, the method used is concurrent mixed methods, the sampling purposive, and the instrument is a survey questionnaire adapted from Masahura in 1998 and Graves in 1996. As for the data, quantitative data will be expressed using weighted mean, and qualitative data will be analyzed using thematic approach.
Good afternoon. For the results and discussion, I am privileged to present to you the data collected for this study. So we have the following data. This is the data for experiences and learning resource developer in terms of needs analysis and material development. While the next data is about the terms or determining goals and objectives in material development. And another dimension measured is about conceptualizing content and material development, followed by the dimension on selecting and developing materials and activities. Next is about organizing content and activities. Next one is about evaluation. And next is about the consideration of resources and constraint. With regards to the following data, the following results were gathered. So for the indicator with lowest weighted mean in each dimension, number one is the need assessment analysis, wherein the gap between the target level and the present level of proficiency in various competence areas and considered it in developing material has an weighted mean of 4.19. Then this was followed by determining goals and objective, wherein using identified learning needs, wherein the developer was able to write learning objectives that are specific, measurable, and attainable on the material with ease and fluency that has a weighted mean of 4.24. This was followed by the indicator about conceptualizing content, wherein it pertains to the outlining and layouting of the subject content that has a weighted mean of 4.16. Okay, for the next one, for selecting and developing materials and activities, the following indicator are considered. One is making sure that the material used is available and feasible. Another is the selected material are flexible to meet diverse learner and target objective. Next, dimension is about organizing content and activity. So for this, the following indicator has the lowest mean, wherein the materials used in the initial discussion or activities are recycled in other learning activities. And also, it's have something to do about the approach in the overall organization of the material in terms of the content and activities to give shape to the material being developed. So the weighted mean here is 4.16. Okay, next dimension that has the lowest weighted mean is the evaluation, wherein the assessment provided leads to the achievement of content and performance standard, which has a weighted mean of 4.29. Okay, for the indicator with the lowest weighted mean, another dimension that was considered is the considerations of resources and constraint, wherein the indicator that has the lowest mean is having an up-to-date, relevant, and sufficient material resources such as book and others that could be used as reference. So among the various dimension and among the various indicator given, this one has the lowest weighted mean, which is equal to 4.10. That means this dimension and this indicator was needing a necessary intervention. So for the challenges faced by the learning resource writer, the following challenges were given or identified. For the considerations of resources and constraint, so the challenges was found on the following indicator, which is having an up-to-date and sufficient resources that could be used as reference. Another is the challenge on making appropriate illustration and graphic was also experienced. And of course, the time constraint due to the abrupt needs of the material during the pandemic. While for the opportunities, the following opportunities was seen. Okay, selecting and developing materials and activities, organizing content and activities, and evaluation. So these particular dimensions were found to offer lots of opportunities for teachers for professional development. Okay, next. So for some reason, so these are the reasons given by the teachers with regards to that particular opportunity. So one is it enrich his or her knowledge about the subject matter of the LR that he or she developed. Another is that it helped the teacher gain wider and deeper understanding of the concept. And another is assessment as part of the opportunities in learning resource development. And lastly, LR development as part of their professional growth helped a lot. Okay. So for the support program, the following were identified or mentioned in the study. Okay, so one is the needs for intensive training for LR development. Another is the production of LR development manual. And of course, the highest among this is the provision of gadgets and other resources, and right shop in contextualizing content. For the conclusion, learning resource development as part of teacher's task should be continuously supported. This activity provides an avenue to professional growth in terms of knowledge content, pedagogy, and assessment. Despite of all the challenges faced by teachers in developing learning materials, still it is a productive activity. For the recommendation, investigation on the conflicts of ideas and the responses made by teachers in each dimension, researches on other dimension of LR development not included in the study could also be tackled. And of course, the validation of the findings by other subject areas were recommended. For our references, these are the references that we use for this particular study.